Hello guys, Wahoo here, back in another video. This time around we are gonna go over the community letter for September. Yes, we got finally the community letter a little bit later than usually, but there was also a big update and the event coming out at the same time. Also the consoles getting their update at the same time, except for Switch. They are a little bit behind, but they will get it as well. But if you want to read all of this yourself, it is linked in the description, so you go down there and check that out if you want to go over it by yourself. But if you want to listen into my little walkthrough of it, you can just stay tuned and I will go through everything, of course, as we always do. And we are going to start with the recap. They said that right here that the block party update and stuff like that, we will go to that when we come, like the kind of upcoming things, which is kind of already upcoming, or not upcoming anymore because it's already out there. But let's start with the recap. And they, of course, they talked about, talking this one about the Trove 10-year anniversary, the Sunfest one. And I specifically asked for this, if they had any numbers, it would be super fun to go over. So they included it in the community letter, which I think is super amazing. And they made a whole, like a whole picture here, super awesome. And we'll go over this one in a second, but I requested this and they followed through. So thank you to the devs for this little thing here. And they also added a few other things that I wasn't thinking was going to be included in it. So I have a tab right here where you zoomed in a little bit more. So starting off, we did throw over 1 million Yapaki pinatas. So that was super awesome. And more than half of them is on PC. So this is for all the consoles and all the everything. Basically, there's over 1 million, both paid ones, but also the ones we threw for free. But that's crazy. But over half of them is on PC. So PC definitely went a little bit more crazy than, I guess, the consoles. But there might also be more players. So kind of makes up for it. But maybe PC players are just more crazy. I don't know. But over 1 million of them was super awesome. We also defeated the Moontouch Menace. That was the one for the dragon. Over 70,000 times, which is absolutely amazing. You see how much he is crying because he was just, you know, beaten so many times that he, you know, gets that crying out there. Also repelled 3,000 invaders. No, not 3,000, sorry. 3 million invaders. I messed up on that one. But yeah, 3 million invaders was also defeated, and you can see they're running for their lives because they are also surrendering because of how we did it. But such effort also came at a cost, and during our vigilant battles, we fell over 3.5 million times. They're kind of making a little promotion here for their new block system. Not block as in block, but as in blocking system, because now that you don't need, you know, your death defying, you can actually use this one right here. So they're just making a little bit of a little reference to that one right here. But yeah, we got that many, and I don't know if this is a correct number, because I don't know if dying in the game is the same as, you know, respawning. So if you like, you know, /respawn, and that actually works, that might also count towards it. So I don't know if it's gonna be a 3.5 million death, but we'll see. But yeah, the main thing is these two right here. But also something that was super interesting to me is that Knight is actually the 3rd most played class. I know Shadowhunter is the most, that's whatever it has been for forever. Also before the rework of it, and Boomeranger is also a very popular class as well, both in the in-game and also from leveling up and stuff like that. But I'm very surprised that the Knight is the 3rd most played class as well. I would guess it would be a Near Ninja. My guess would have been number 3 would be Near Ninja, but yeah, I guess I'm just surprised that it's the Knight, and I'm very happy that it's the Knight, that it's going to be there. And maybe someday we'll also have a rework, so it'd be a little bit more interesting to do. But also during the celebration, there was a Twitch campaign, you know, a lot of people, you know, streamed, and there was a lot of people watching, so much that it was 100,000 hours watched on Twitch. And that also made then over 100,000 people true Trovians. And true Trovians was one of the titles you could obtain through watching Twitch. And spoiler alert for the new community letter, we're gonna go that in the end. There's gonna be some new Twitch drops. We haven't seen anything to it yet, but I will of course make a video for you guys when that drops, so you know when to watch, so you can get some new stuff. There should be one new item in there, but there might also be some older stuff coming in, but we'll see when that drops. But I'm thinking it's gonna be like the end of the month or something like that, that we're gonna see these Twitch charts. But I am going to, of course, update you guys as soon as I know something. You guys are also going to know. But super awesome, and thank you for everybody who hung out in my Twitch chat when we were doing all of this. So going back to the community letter, we are going to go to kind of recapping the last event as well. Of course, we have those Elysian, I think that's what it was, the 15 step quest line we did last month, of course, in August. And we got some super awesome stuff. And there was also a close call competition. That was you basically did a competition where you kind of showed off your character. And that was actually the top entries actually received 5,000 credits. That's real money for actually that. And also their moment to shine for the community spotlight, which is super, super, super awesome. So going into the community questions is also a few relevant questions. And again, if you want to answer your question, you can, of course, head over to the Discord and you can put it in a feedback channel and they will pick some of these questions here. And I feel like they pick some really good questions. Like, I'm not feeling they are dodging any questions. There might be some questions they don't want to answer at the moment because they don't really know what to specifically say or something like that. That's always a given, right? But I feel like they, especially like with this question, which I will go over, I really feel like they are listening to community and they are asking, or not answering, asking, but people are asking the hard questions, but also, you know, answering the hard questions. That's what I mean. And the first one is there any plans for C5 rings since Mythic gems are coming? They are already out. The gems are already out for, except for Switch again, sorry. But they say that the Crystal 5 gems are a natural thing and will natural occurrence, and I think they say like that. And there's no immediate plans to add it right now, but it will come over time. So I think we will see it in a kind of a new, that the next update maybe. Like, I think that's a natural progression. I don't know what the next thing is going to be. We kind of tackled, you know, our gear and our gems. So ring might be the next thing, but it's not super huge. You know, it's not like something where you go for like, you know, 55,000 power rank to 60,000 just by equipping a new ring, right? So it's a minor tweak. So we'll see what happens with this one. But the more interesting question is why a player requested improvements and class rework consistently delayed for favors of monetization's updates. So basically they kind of recap the updates they've done and why they did the updates they did. But the main part of the question, or the answer here, is our updates regularly include ways to ease the progress via the store. We are a free-to-play game, and the monetization necessarily to keep the servers and ongoing development running. However, monetization is never the start point of our design process. Updates first built around gameplay improvements and new features, while monetization is a layer afterwards to support the game's sustainability, or being sustainable, basically. And I totally agree with all of this, but I do also think that it should be also kind of included, because it's a free-to-play game, and I know monetization is always something people are very concerned about because money, right? But I think it's very important that there is monetization for the people that do want to support the game that way. And I do that sometimes. It does not happen very often, but I think it's great that the option is there. I don't think it should ever be behind a paywall, but that's why I've always liked Trove, is that there are no paywalls in Trove. There is pay to progress faster, which is really, really nice. So if you choose to, for example, I've done this every single time there's been a new class, I've always bought the class because I do want to play the class right away, so I have the option to do so. But if you choose to not do so, if you want to save that money and actually get some more gameplay out of it, actually, you can do so. And you shouldn't be super easy to get the, you know, because if you get the class super easy through just crafting it yourself, then why would I spend money on it when if I just can go and unlock it like right away or something like that? So I think it's super, super important that it is balanced correctly. And it's always it's always opinionated. So maybe some people think it's great, some people think it's it sucks, but at least there is no paywalls. There's nothing like you have to pay for in Trove. You can unlock everything, not everything, but most things. Of course, there's a few things you can't, but the point is you can still play Trove without ever spending any money in Trove. People have done that multiple times. Of course, you will never be number one on the leaderboards, but that doesn't really matter in that sense. Being number one on a leaderboard actually don't really matter too much in Trove. Most things you can just do by just playing the game like a casual, like I usually do, and I can still play the game without spending any money at all on it. But again, if you do want to support the game, I think it's super awesome that that you actually can do so. And it also free to play game, so they also have to make money. That's just how everybody does. We have a job. I have a job. You probably have a job. Somebody else has a job. Whatever, your mom and dad, whoever has a job, right? And we have to provide, and this is the way they are doing it. And yes, it is a free-to-play game, but it has an option to pay for it. Some games you can't even play without paying for it. Like World of Warcraft, you actually have to pay every single month just to play it, right? So, I'm not making any excuses for free-to-play model or anything like that. I'm just saying, you can basically play Trove for 2 hours and never pay anything for it. But if you want to play 2 hours of World of Warcraft, you have to pay that kind of money to do so, right? So anyways, that was just a kind of a rant on that one. But I just wanted to put my opinion out there. I've said it before, but I wanted to say it again. And they're also talking about more badges for loyalty points. And if you don't know what loyalty points is, that's basically if you spend any money in the shop, you will get some points for a badge. If you go to your badges, you can see like how many boxes you've opened, how many blocks you've destroyed, and all that stuff, how many days you're logged in, right? And there's also a badge for how many points you've spent in the shop, and there is one up to 1,000, and that equals $1 as well. So, or €1 basically, because I'm in Europe, but dollars as well. So if you have 1,000 points, that means you spend $1,000 in the game, or euros. And this, yeah, so people are talking about they want like more tiers of badges. So people are probably like way up. The ones that are like, number one on the leaderboards is way past 1,000, right? Way past 1,000. I don't know how many they are actually. I don't know what number one is. I'm actually kind of curious that maybe I'll ask Cash and Clean to kind of tell me, or Nina maybe, how many points they have. That would be kind of funny to know. Just myself, you guys can know if you want to, but the point is that's kind of crazy. But yeah, they should add some more. That I think they should add more badges for everything. For a lot of things, they should add badges for. I've said it before. I think it's super awesome. I love working towards these badges in just a kind of way. Not really the Leviathans, but that Leviathans is a completely different thing. But yeah, I'll probably never get that one. I also said that about the one in the Shadow Towers, and I got those. So maybe at some point, but really now, yeah, not really feeling, cool about, those Leviathans. But maybe in the future they will have a rework and they will be more fun. We will never know, but or we might at some point. Upcoming is, of course, we got the block party. That is, of course, the one that's already in the game. And also right now we have the healthy food versus the junk food. Hashtag team junk food, of course. But yeah, the block party update and also the event is out at the same time. Switch has to wait again a little bit longer, but it's on everything else. And they have also been aware of issues on the consoles. They've updated us on that. I'm not sure if it's fixed or yet, but they are aware of different issues. If you have any issues, of course, go to the Discord, the Trove Discord, and post it there, and they will get around to fixing some of those bugs that was in there. And of course, lately, the last thing here is the Twitch stuff, as I talked about before. Catch your favorite Trove streamers, or me. If I'm not your favorite, then catch me. Earn reward and unlock a brand new item. It's just an item, so it's not items. So I'm pretty sure it's only going to be one. Maybe they're going to take all the old ones and just add a new one. I'm not sure. We'll see that. Again, there will be more details, and I will also provide that more details. And lastly, of course, there's their social medias down here. You should definitely go and check those out. That's the Discord right here. So you can go and check that one out there. But yeah, that is the community letter for September. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed the recap of the Sunfest. I really hope that they're going to do that next year as well, because I hope that Sunfest is going to be a little bit bigger event than we had usually. But of course not as big as this one, because this was the 10-year one, right? But we should get Sunfest should be the biggest event, like maybe a third bigger than normally event, like not longer, but just like more included. Maybe not all this throwing piñatas and stuff like that, but just kind of, and then you can kind of reminisce how fun the Sunfest is. It should just be the most amazing, best time to play the game when we have Sunfest as well. So we'll hopefully get that. We'll see what they're going to do in the future. If they continue to work with us content creators, we will of course have our input, and hopefully that will have an impact on all of it. We had it at the last Sunfest, so that was super awesome. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the community letter. Again, it's linked down in the description if you want to check everything out. And also all stuff related to me is also, of course, in the description. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!